if you're struggling to break through your income ceiling, whatever that is, let's just say it's breaking through to six figures a year, and you cannot make that as a health professional and you're getting frustrated, you have no idea why. Well, let's just back up a little bit and ask the question, is it because you are attracting the wrong customers? So early in my career, I actually did that. I think a lot of us do that early in our career where we're willing to do whatever, whenever, however. And I was there too. Now, granted, when I started in this field, there were no sport nutrition jobs. So I kind of had to create my own path, pave my own way. With that said, I had to take every opportunity possible. But I did that not only to make money, and granted, it was not a lot of money, but I did that to gain experience. So here's the thing, the evolution as we go through our health professional career, the evolution of the type of customers we usually attract are it changes, right? So when we're early in our career, we usually attract clients or customers who are not willing to pay that much. Maybe they're not as financially stable because you are attracting what you are providing. Remember that. So as you start out as a generalist, no matter what field you're working in health professions, let's just say nutrition, near and dear to my heart. If you're a nutrition professional, you're just starting, maybe you don't have the experience and a lot of the knowledge yet, so you need to build that up. Well, that is going to come out, and that is going to create the customer base who you are comfortable with. So think about that. As you progress later in your career, you will become more comfortable with higher paying clients because why? Because you have more experience, you have more knowledge, you can talk about more things, and you have more confidence in helping people change and transform their lives and their health and their performance. So, really, when we look at why aren't you making what you think you should be making? And personally, I think every health professional should be making over six figures. Absolutely. It's actually, I don't want to say this tongue in cheek, but it is actually easier than you think to do. And this particular topic, attracting the right customer. So, for example, I heard a colleague of mine say the other day, my customers can't afford that. And I kind of stopped and I was thinking, well, that's interesting. So, what kind of customers are you attracting? And when you have that discussion with yourself, like I was having with my colleague, it really makes you reflect from an inner person and think, am I really attracting the right type of customer? So for me as a sport dietitian, am I attracting the right type of athletes? Now, granted, it's not to segregate income at all, right? So, oh, I will not work with this athlete because they can't afford this. It's not doing that at all. It's looking at the knowledge and the skills and the experience you have and what you bring to the table and what you can demand for those. So, and that's why I use that example as you're earlier in your career versus later in your career. Now, think of it this way also. Are you a generalist or a specialist? Earlier in our career, most of the time as health professionals, we are generalists, right? We're trying to gain knowledge, gain experience, gain exposure, and we're generalizing what we do. So when I first started out, I would provide sport nutrition services to anyone that wanted them. Didn't matter how old, it didn't matter. As I progressed in my career, I started following my niches and I started creating those. So I actually started, when I first started my private practice, my niche was endurance athletes. And now, granted, that's a huge niche, of course, right? But that was my first niche. And then I expanded and then I decreased. So what I did later in my career was I became more of a specialist on certain topics that I work with athletes. So while my population is generalized, i.e., sports nutrition, athletic individuals, the topics that I teach and transform people's lives with, those are extremely specific. And I know when I don't want to work inside or outside my specific topics or my scope, my identified scope of practice, right? And it's not to say I can't. Like, for example, it's not to say I cannot work with overweight clients who are looking to improve their health markers. Absolutely, I can. I'm a registered dietitian, sure. But I choose not to because that's not the population that I'm specializing in. So here's the thing. When you're attracting customers based on where you're at in your continuum of your career, the type of customer you will attract is relative to what you are providing. Are you providing generalist services or are you providing specialist services? So this happens all over the place in the health field, the medical field, doesn't matter, right? Think of yourself more as a specialist providing special transformation education that demands a higher price, which will help you break through your income ceiling, will help you get to that six figures and beyond. It actually, I will tell you this, getting to six figures is pretty tough. Surpassing it and keeping that increase going up to a certain point is actually easier than it is breaking over the six figures, because some of that is a mindset also. And the mindset starts with what type of customer are you attracting based on not your services, but based on your level of commitment, your level of experience, your level of really just exposure in your field. So remember again, generalist versus specialist. Generalists make less money. Specialists make more money. Attract the right customer based on what you want to be doing or are currently doing, and maybe you just need to restructure your business model a little bit. And then from there, you put your blinders on. I cannot recommend this enough. Once you know your niche or your specialist target, your road, put your blinders on and focus on that only. I can't tell you how many times I've had industry professionals, athletes, teams say, hey, can you work with us? Well, yes, I can. But that would bring me more into a generalist opportunity. And listen, sometimes it might be worth it for exposure. I get it, right? But a lot of times, you have to say no a little bit more. So you can just focus on the yes. The yes is the specialized. It will attract the customers you want, who are your higher paying customers, because they want problems fixed that are at that higher level, that transformation level. If you can specialize your services with that, it will attract the right customer, but you also have to look for the right customer. So from a mindset perspective, you actually might need to do a little bit of mindset shifting with yourself and leave some of your customer base, that generalist customer base that you've been serving, leave them behind. There are thousands, millions of other health professionals that can help them. You don't have to be the only one helping them. What you want to do is move them behind you so you can accelerate forward into the different customer base. Attract the customers that are where they will get you to where you want to go financially. But a lot of this begins also with having the self-confidence of doing that. It's scary. Don't get me wrong, right? It is absolutely scary. But if you can gradually start to segue from generalist to specialist, even in the topic areas, listen, I'm proof of the point. It does not have to be a whole category that you have to specialize in. It can be specific transformational educational topics that you are specializing in within a larger category. Okay. Hope that helps. And really, think about this a little bit more. A lot of this is to do with mindset. And I find when I mentor health professionals, I find that a lot of them they know some of this, but they just don't have the confidence or the push or the skill set and the resources to push to that next level. And that next level will get you above the six figures and beyond. Thanks for listening.